Alright, today I've got the Viking build. I even grew out my beard for this video. And I'll be taking the Viking build to solo the Reaper raid boss and solo the Shogun boss. But before we get into the video, I want to give a shout out to Theresa Gilaga. Theresa, if you're watching this video, thank you so much for watching and thank you so much for subscribing. And I know you told me you're going through a typhoon right now, so safe wishes, man. I hope you're safe. And if you have any video ideas you would like for me to do, don't forget to share them in the comments, as I may do it in the next video and shout you out for the video idea. Now with the intro out of the way, let's go over what makes this the Viking build. So of course, classic Viking weapons are the axes and the sledgehammer right here. These two are very perfect weapons, especially the sledgehammer because it's just so huge. Look at the size of it. And while we're on the weapons, I've got my sledgehammer upgraded with 4 cooldown and 3 damage. And I've got my axes upgraded with 3 cooldown and 4 damage. This was a misclick. I meant to do 4 cooldown and 3 damage, so that's usually the setup you want to do. You want to upgrade more cooldown. But moving onwards to the cosmetics, I've got the dragon boots and the skull ring. To be honest with you, when trying to think of an idea for the Viking build, I immediately came up with the dragon boots, but I didn't know what other cosmetic to add, so I decided to add the skull ring because sometimes Vikings wear rings and it's got a skull on it, but I know it's also got the yin yang ring as well, but I'm wearing it for the skull ring. And of course, the tag we're going to use is the warrior tag, as it's the most fitting for a Viking. And everything else in this build I'm using is because this build actually isn't that strong. I mean, come on, I'm running the axes and the skull ring here. I have to kill the Reaper raid boss using this build. And lastly, I'll mention that my skill tree is fully upgraded in attack. The reason why it's upgraded in attack is because I'm going to do a future video idea. By the way, shout out to Blackstar Ace in my server right here. But with everything out of the way, let's get right into soloing the Reaper raid boss, being a Viking. Alright, we just loaded in right here. Of course, I've got my double axe at 100 mastery, and I've also got my sledgehammer at 100 mastery, so we could be the strongest Viking that we could possibly be right here. So I'm going to try and build up my double damage meter, and I'll do a damage test with every weapon. So let's try and build up some damage here. Try and feel my inner Viking as I do these huge attacks, and the cooldowns for these axes are actually like super fast. But we've got our double damage ready now, so we'll pop it up. Let's try Glacial Impact first, doing about 500 damage. And we got Permafrost Spin, doing about 900 damage. Then we've got Blizzard Maelstrom doing about, with the crit, we did do 2k damage right there. Oh, I thought he TP'd. He tripped me out. And then for the V move, we've got 3k damage. Yeah, just 3k damage right there. And then now for the axes. For Dual Slash, we've got 180 damage. And then for Quad Shot, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I missed the last one. That would have been maybe 400 damage. And I did lose my double damage meter, so I'm going to get it back real quick. Alright, and for Axe Cyclone, it's actually pretty strong. It's doing about 3k damage. And then for Rage Cleave, also pretty strong because it's a multi-hit attack, doing about 2k damage right there. So let's see how long it's going to take to solo the Reaper raid boss as a Viking. we finally took down the Reaper raid boss as a Viking. That took nearly 8 minutes to complete. Alright, so my final thoughts for the Viking build. This build was definitely carried by the Sledgehammer weapon right here. Using only the axes would have taken so much longer, but I will say that the axes definitely shocked me in terms of its damage. Its third move and 100 mastery move actually had really high tick damage, but I'll tell you that the reason why it was doing so much damage was 100% of my attack skill tree maxed out right here. This is because moves with really high multi-hits, such as the third move and the 100 mastery move of the axes, do so much more damage when you have really high flat attack numbers, like obviously the attack skill tree right here. And you can also see this example in Sledgehammer because its second move is also a multi-hit move. If only there were more powerful cosmetics that were Viking themed, because the dragon boots, although they're perfect, they're just okay, just giving me 2 damage. And same thing with the skull ring, it's only giving me 2 damage right here. And I'll mention to you guys that these two are definitely not worth crafting. You do not want to craft these items at all. I just have them crafted just for fun, and the dragon boots, they do look pretty cool to me. And in terms of synergy with the axes and the Sledgehammer, they definitely work so perfectly together because they're very close range weapons and their cooldowns synergize pretty well together. So I'm always using skills, and if I'm ever not using skills, I could always use the very powerful M1s of Sledgehammer. The range of both of these weapons are pretty similar except for Sledgehammer's first move. So in terms of spacing yourself against the boss, it was super simple. But that's going to be it for the Viking build video. I had a lot of fun making this avatar. I look super funny with the beard. I mean, just look at it, it's all over the place and looks so musty. I love making themed builds like this. They're super fun from the cosmetics down to the avatar. And I can't wait to do even more themed builds in the future. So please don't forget to like and subscribe and stay tuned for more themed build videos. Keep watching if you want to see a bonus fight against the Shogun raid boss. But other than that, thank you so much for watching.